Everybody, welcome to this week's Star Report. This is Jason here at New Dimensions and Crystals and Reiki, here in downtown Brenham, Texas, next to the radio station KTX 106. Come on by the shop and check out all the things we got. If you're in the area, starting right off, this is the report for October the 23rd through October the 29th. And we begin, as always, with the sun. The sun is calm. There's a couple plasma filaments that are facing our direction that plasma filaments can erupt almost like a CME. So it's something to watch out for. And there is a large group of large sunspots incoming, meaning as the sun spins, because the Earth and the sun both rotate for that cosmology. Wink, wink, nod, nod. And when it does that, the sunspots become Earth facing. And so those are some large ones that are incoming. They should probably be Earth facing by the weekend. So pay attention for that. Also, regarding the sun, a new study from Oak Ridge National Labs says that plants are eating a lot more carbon dioxide than originally believed, leading to the tacit connection that perhaps the sun is more influential in the weather changes, or that the weather is driven by the sun. Imagine that, the largest star with all this electromagnetic plasmatic energy that bombards the Earth all day long, every day. Whether you think the sun is 93 million miles away or is locally derived. So, nonetheless, the effect that it has on this reality, whether that is a matrix of control or just 3D existing with the other dimensions of all kinds of other things. The sun is doing some stuff and some things, and probably is the dominant driving engine of energy flow, which shapes the reality in which we engage. That might come up later about being bright and sunny. Moving right along, we are into Scorpio season. I think, yeah, we're into Scorpio season. And so Scorpio, alchemically, the body orientates to whatever sun sign the sun is in. So that's the zodiac. So we're in Scorpio. And alchemically just means that there's a physical correspondence with the body as the zodiac progresses, as it goes down and then back up, sometimes following the analemma of the sun in the sky. You can look that up on your own. Analemma is actually a fun sort of thing. Anywho, yeah, so Scorpio is going to affect the sacral chakra, or the ganglia at the base of the spine. Right, so those nerves sometimes have connection all the way down to sciatica, right? So if you're having lower back problems, perhaps that's a lot of energy flow, or maybe a lot of energy blockage that is being highlighted for you during the season of Scorpio, to let that stuff go. Yeah. And then we can get into the healing nature of venoms and the sting of the scorpion and all those kinds of things oriented down there, right? So just sort of think about, that's the nature of the energy, that's the nature of the potential of that kind of energy. And so that is also connected to our sexual glands, right? So that's also, it's a whole bunch of alsos today. That is another way to sort of pay attention to the idea of the scorpion and the sexual glands, right? So I believe it's one of those things where the scorpion will sting itself, right? So don't sting yourself by overly being guided by the sexual glands. Not that anything's wrong with sex, but yeah, just sort of a little thing. All these sort of things, mystically, mythologically, sort of really do have some kind of, we would call it now a psychological understanding, but just an energy or a vibrance or a resonance correspondence that goes on with the nature of our reality and how we interact with it in a physical form. Fun times. Moving right along, we're currently in 5 retrogrades. First one is Saturn, which is really about mystical timing, which is kind of good for this week, moving into Halloween next week. Just sort of what you want to do when these things are in retrograde, and I talk about mystical timing, you want to look for instances, right? So what you look for, you get, right? So when you start to look for this mystical timing in the Saturn retrograde, you're going to start to see that. And then one of the cool things is you might see that since it's in retrograde, you might see that there's been mystical timing the entire time you've been alive, and you're being guided by your soul and not by the maladies of the mind or the illnesses of a society. Yeah, mystical time. Something higher, or at least operating in a higher echelon, if not higher than, is guiding what's happening on the planet. Leads us into Neptune is in retrograde. Cosmic consciousness, right? Being conscious that you exist outside of the body, that soul is not derived from chemicals in the mind, but exists outside of that. Sometimes you want to get to this soul level consciousness. A lot of people in the mystical world will call this Christ consciousness, where you get the understanding in scripture where Paul tells us to put on Christ, right? So we've got to put on our Christ consciousness, our Christed self, which is not sacrilegious. It's orthodoxy. So there you go. Leads us into Chiron, um, which is about healing past, I don't got trauma, healing past limitations, right? So things that we thought about ourselves for a long time, is sort of healing those past limitations, but it's also um, taking away the idea or the necessity that we need to be limited in a certain way. So Chiron's helping with that. Uranus is really about rebuilding the 3D self. This could be rebuilding the physical self, right? How your physical self interacts in the world, right? So this would be personality, habit kind of forming stuff. But this is really now that you have through Saturn, Neptune, and Chiron this understanding of, uh, through Saturn, Neptune, this no, and Chiron, this nature of your soul's journey. You can sort of understand that that soul, based on that knowledge, can rebuild the limited self into something new, right? So that the physical 3D self starts becoming more Christ-like by allowance, really. And so when you allow that energy to flow, it's almost like a cymatics. That energy has a vibration and will reconstruct the body into its Christed form. The longer that it sits in, saturates in that vibration, fun times. Leads us into Jupiter retrograde, self worth. Um, this is sort of the defining of self-worth, reevaluating your self-worth, and a lot of times this will be the entrepreneurial journey, right? Like, I'm tired of working for somebody, I have an idea, right? And so then there's that idea of Chiron and healing past limitations, right? Are you limited to where you are? Have you missed your chance? uh if we're all divine creators, then no, you have not missed your chance, and it's never too late. So fun times. So those are our retrogrades. Moves us right on into today, which is Wednesday, October the 23rd. And oh, I was like, what did I even write? That is some terrible handwriting. Yeah, this is what I was getting into. I say so Wednesday is really about the excitement about where your soul can lead you. And this is about being sunny, right? If you are enlivened and enlightened and you become brighter and or you vibrate higher, just sort of think of if you are a light bulb and you've been on a dimmer and you begin to become brighter, you're going to see new things in your vision, right? And your new light is going to cast shadows. Those things were already there, but they were without the light, and so they didn't appear, or they appeared bright because of the darkness, right? A lot of things like, oh, when the darkness is around, you sort of see and your eyes adjust. And so when the light comes on, things get cast shadows and you might be like, I don't know what that is. So that's the kind of sort of idea about paying attention to this newness. This newness might be startling. Sometimes it can be fearful if you're into this kind of stuff and you think there are things that exist in higher echelons, or you know that things exist in higher echelons, and all of a sudden you see a dark shadow or a figure. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is of lower vibration or of negative intent. So pay attention to that today, Wednesday, as you become brighter and into the future, right? That as you shine your light, there's a couple of things, right? Things will come crash into you like moths to flames. but also your landscape and how you see the world and what is actually being able to be seen in the world becomes different and shifted. So yeah, that sounds like a fucking hell of a Wednesday. Woo! Let your light so shine before others. Yeah. Uh, Thursday, 1024. Mars is in pre-shadow, and so it's going to be having a lot of effect. I believe Mars goes into retrograde December 6th, right? So the pre-shadow is a really long time, as you can tell. And so the Mars pre-shadow, it's going to have two effects, right? So you're either going to feel super productive or you're going to feel super agitated that you're not super productive, right? So it's this urge to do, right? And so you can do that a couple of ways, right? You can use that to sort of instill new habits to sort of go along with, you've got this big bright light. Maybe you can go explore the caves of your life and things that you've left unseen and undone and start to work on that stuff. Or you can work on your anxiety that you can't sit still, that you can't contemplate, that you can't look at what your soul's trying to tell you because you're so busy all the time, right? So it's that dual-edged sword that's on Thursday, tomorrow, 1024. Let's see, it moves us into Friday, 1025, October the 25th. And that strong energy flow really starts to, I guess there's a strong cosmic energy flow that's really going to be lasting till Halloween and Diwali, right? So we're starting to ramp up. So the moon's heading towards new, like getting dimmer, but we're also heading towards Halloween, All Hallows Eve, and the Diwali, the celebration of light. All kinds of energetic kind of shifts, right? And so that's going to be a high flow of this energy, which we get to a little bit on Monday, what I'm talking about. But that energy is really going to be highlighting the thinning or the merging of this 3D self with this soul self, right? That might even be evident in exterior things to just you and your perceptions. That might be influencing function, right? So that things that were functioning a certain way and not just from your perspective might function differently, right? And so you want to think of this as also cymatics, where the flow of that energy causes a plasma shape or a hummed or an energetic abundance to start to hit a frequency, which gives things new shape. That sounds like a big Friday too. Good energy moving into the weekend. Leads into Saturday, 1026. Really just sort of ride the waves of this resonance, um, and watch the stuff that's been unseen start to be seen. You take that how you will. That could be, even if you're going to remain in the 3D, that can be even more discoveries about the machinery of how culture and government and society and religion works. So think about things unseen. It's they always make the joke that sometimes you don't want to see how the sausage is made, but you know, uh, sometimes it helps to choose for your diet of what do you want to give your witness and your pranic energy to and focus, if it is indeed made to disorient or dim that witness. That sounds pretty intense, Jason. I don't even know. I don't even know, dude. What are you talking about? Leads us into Sunday, uh, October the 27th. Look for new opportunities to be birthed out of your alignment to soul, right? So this is just random people, maybe even old connections, maybe even connections that you thought weren't noticing your self development, your personal journey. Will give you kudos for, like, oh yeah, I've seen that you've definitely lost that 10 pounds, or that your face looks more relaxed. Are you doing a new skincare program? Did you meditate? Do you feel better about that kind of alignment, right? And then just sort of providing opportunities of like collaboration, dating, love, places to move, shared burden of starting a business, right? We talked about entrepreneurship earlier, right? The idea that by being in alignment to soul, you have different opportunities because the world knows that you are ready to accept different things would be a good thing to pay attention to on Sunday. And it's always a good day to contemplate what's the nature of my next week going to be like, which on Monday, the 28th of 2024, is the 40 or beginning of the 44th week of the year. And really, 44 numerologically is always associated, always a lot of times associated with angels or the angel frequency or the idea of angelic resonance, right? A lot of times it's 44, many times it's 444, much like people liked 222, 333, and 1111. Right, those are cosmic synchronicities based on the mathematic nature of our mind that sort of give us a hint. And so when we're in that 44th week, you want to think about angelic presence, right? And they can be angels in any which way you sort of decide as a soul level person to engage those things. It could be like the archangels, like Archangel Michael or Gabriel. It could be regular angels that have no names or have some kind of cryptic Gnostic names. It could be angels as in loved ones that have passed on or in the angelic realm. Um, just that kind of flow, that kind of synchronicity, right? A lot of times this could be highlighted or physically oriented. And this is sort of anecdotal, but this happens to a lot of people because I sit in a shop where I collect these kinds of stories. And this is a often story where something physical that reminds you or is a picture of somebody that has passed on moves around, comes highlighted, shines, glows in the space that you occupy, right? This could be like a photo, this could be like a brush, this could be a mirror, a dresser, a chair that somebody's left you behind. And that's the kind of energy that really sort of pops up during this angelic stuff. And then, of course, we're moving into All Hallows, where the veil's getting thinner. And then, of course, when we get to All Hallows and we realize that everything's one, then we get into Diwali, right? Which everything is one. And so, what is the substance? The substance is light, right? Photons. Uh, be the light, see the light, ride the light, all the light. Leads into Tuesday. And um, you really are going to start to experience that angelic flow in the public sphere, right? So not only in your personal life, but you're going to see the angelic cleansing of what you might be experiencing in the world, right? That could look like rebirth, right? All things made new. And of course, when that happens, if you remodel your house, first there's demolition. So if there's going to be all things made new, you must get rid of and or let go of the old. So sometimes, especially in the West, especially in the United States, as we lead towards the election, perhaps it looks like lots of things are slipping away or falling apart or blah, 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 right? Name the thing that might be grabbing your focus and sort of understand that the shifts, whether they're perceived from your location, right? So if it's about your flashlight here and everything looks scary, but if you just step over here, you highlight a whole different idea of society. Just sort of understand that the light and the angels are flowing, and perhaps everything is working in your favor. Isn't that a I think that's may the odds be ever in your favor, isn't it? Whatever that thing was with the arrows in the dystopian future. Uh, Even if you're seeing the future as a dystopian, there is a divinity within yourself and a divinity within however far you'd like to put creation away that is working in your favor and for your good. And so I think that's the kind of energy I would choose to sort of focus on for this week. Of course, if you want to book an appointment, I'm here at New Dimensions Crystals and Reiki in downtown Brenham, Texas. I was trying to say New Dimensions Crystals.com all at the same time. I think that is all I have to say. Until next week, everybody, many blessings.